My name is Winter Collins, and the day I came home to my own condo and got told to move out was the day I stopped playing the good daughter. I had been on a work trip, proud because this place was paid for with my overtime and side jobs. I opened the door expecting quiet. Instead, I walked into ring lights, camera stands, and the sound of my brother shouting to an audience that this was his penthouse in downtown Austin. My couch, my kitchen, my view, all branded as his. My mom was there like she owned the deed, smiling at the screen. Before I could even finish saying, "What are you doing in my condo?" she hit me with it. "You have been away? The place was just sitting here. Family has rights. Your brother needs a quiet space. You can grab your things and find somewhere else for a while." When I said no, she did not even blink. Selfish Winter. My brother laughed into his microphone and told his chat his little sister was being dramatic about his penthouse. I did not scream. I did not cry. I walked straight to my bedroom, saw my desk shoved into a corner to make room for his setup, and pulled out the one thing they had not touched, my hidden security drive. I smiled, pulled out my phone, and made one call. 10 minutes later, there was a hard knock at the door and a calm voice on the other side saying, "Austin Police Department, Mom. We need to talk about who actually lives here. If you want to know what happened after that knock and how that one call flipped my whole family upside down, stay with me till the end." When the cops stepped in, my brother was still alive. His chat went nuts the second two uniforms walked through the frame. He tried to play it off, laughing like it was a prank. But one officer asked him to mute the stream and the other turned to me. "Mom, do you live here?" I handed over my ID and condo registration before my mom could open her mouth. The officer glanced at the paperwork, then at me, then at Logan. "So you are Winter Collins, the owner, and you did not give permission for all of this." My mom jumped in then. "Officer, this is a family thing. My son is just staying here," she said, all polite. "We are just helping each other. No big deal." The officer looked around at the ring lights, the stacks of merch, the whiteboard with content goals plastered across my wall. He told them flat out this looked like a business setup in a residential condo, and that if I, the owner, had a problem, they needed to fix it. He said it was mostly a civil issue, but he logged the complaint and warned them that any more noise or trouble and building management could escalate. After they left, my mom turned on me in the hallway. "Happy, now, Winter. You embarrassed your own family in front of the police." I just said, "I am changing the locks. You have until tonight to get out." Then I did exactly that. I had the smart lock company on speed dial, and within hours, Logan's access code was dead, and my phone was the only one that could open the door. That night, I got the group text. "Family meeting at your condo tomorrow, no excuses." The next day, they showed up like it was some intervention. My mom, Deb, marched in first with a binder like she was about to pitch me a real estate deal. My dad, Gary, followed, hands in his pockets, doing that fake calm thing he does when he wants to manipulate a situation. Logan came last, no camera this time, but still dressed like he was about to film a sponsorship. My mom spread some printouts on the kitchen island. Airbnb listings, temporary rentals, ideas for me. "So here is what we think makes the most sense," she said, like it was already decided. "You are traveling so much for work, Winter. You do not really need to be in the city all the time. There is a cute little furnished place in Round Rock you could rent for 6 months. Cheaper, quieter. Logan can keep using the condo downtown for his content. It is good exposure for the family." My dad nodded. "This streaming thing is real money now. He is about to sign with a travel brand. If he looks stable, successful, it helps everyone. You can come back on weekends. It is just for a while." I stared at them. "You are seriously asking me to move out of my own home so your golden boy can look rich on the internet?" Logan rolled his eyes. "It is not that deep, Winter." The condo was sitting empty. I turned it into something valuable. Family has rights, remember? When I did not answer, he smirked. Chat loved it, by the way. Penthouse content is killing. I pulled out my phone and opened his latest video. He had done a tour of my place, calling it my penthouse in downtown Austin, my skyline view, my office, my bar. He never mentioned my name. He told people he had bought the place with ad money. My stomach turned. I zoomed in on one frame and showed it to them. See this envelope on the counter? That is my bank statement. My mom brushed it off. Details. We are building something bigger here. You always said you wanted us to be okay. This is how. I laid out photos I had taken that morning. Scratches in the hardwood from his equipment, coffee stains on my leather couch, adhesive marks on the wall where he had ripped off panels to hang a giant neon logo. I pulled out an email on my phone from a bank I did not even use. Welcome to your new business checking account, Winter Collins. Only the account number was not one I recognized. Logan's face flickered for half a second. I kept going. I know you used my full legal name and this address to open accounts, to sign up for donation platforms, maybe more. He tried to laugh. It is just paperwork. You know how these platforms are. I just needed something verified. You hardly even live here. I did not trust myself to speak anymore, so I wrapped it up. You have 24 hours to get every piece of your gear out of my condo. No more filming here. No more using my name or my address. After that, I am done talking. He scoffed and stormed out, my parents trailing behind him, still muttering about me ruining everything. I did not chase them. Instead, I texted my coworker and friend, Nina. You used to watch my brother's channel, right? Come to the coffee shop. I need you to see something. An hour later, we were sitting in a corner booth with my laptop between us. I pulled up old VODs, the penthouse tour, the night parties, the casual shots where he flashed my credit card like it was his. Nina watched as he ordered takeout, my name half visible on the receipt, as his chat spammed rich life and goals. Her face fell. I thought he was grinding and traveling and hustling, she said quietly. I did not know he was just draining you. I felt something inside me click into place. That is when I started saving timestamps, screenshots, anything that showed where my money and my name had gone. Was trust dying because of all these little cuts over years, or because of this one massive betrayal laid out on a screen in front of me? I was not sure yet. But I knew one thing. My family still believed I would cave, like always. They had no idea I had just started building a case. The next morning, I met Nina again at my place with 2 coffees and a shared sense that this was bigger than family drama. We hooked my laptop up to the TV and opened every security clip, every VOD, every little piece of footage I had. At first, it was just annoying things. Logan and his friends screaming at 2 a.m., music blasting, them dancing on my couch with pizza boxes everywhere. Then it got darker. Clips of him flipping through my mail on camera like it was a prop. A delivery guy handing over packages addressed to Winter Collins while Logan joked, "When you are a creator, boxes never stop coming." There was a night where he poured shots on my kitchen island, shouting to chat, "This is what a real penthouse party looks like," while a neighbor knocked on the door complaining about the noise. He told chat the neighbors were jealous. Another clip showed my mom walking friends around the condo in the middle of the day, talking about it like a shared family asset. "This is our downtown place," she told them, gesturing to my view. "Logan uses it for filming, but it is basically our investment property." Nina reached for the remote and paused on a frame where my open laptop sat in the background, my employer's logo clearly visible on the screen. "If one of your clients saw this," she said quietly, "they would think you were the reckless one." My phone buzzed just then. "Unknown number." I answered on speaker. "Hi, is this Ms. Collins? This is Monica Hernandez with Building Management. We need to speak about your unit." My stomach sank. Yes, this is Winter. I am at the unit now. She told me to come down to the office. When we got there, Monica had a folder on her desk thicker than my patience. She slid it across to me. Noise complaints from your floor and the one below. Reports of filming in the hallway. A note about multiple strangers with cameras buzzing other units by mistake. Photos from the overnight security guard showing a ring light setup visible from the hallway. She tapped a page near the back. And this is the police report from the call the other day. It lists you as the owner and complainant. Unlike my family, Monica did not talk to me like a child. She talked to me like a responsible adult with a problem. I want to be very clear, she said. Our bylaws do not allow commercial operations like a content studio out of a residential unit without prior approval. If this continues, the HOA can fine you heavily, and in extreme cases they can pursue legal action. It all lands on you, not your guests. Nina watched my face as I flipped through the complaints. Words like excessive noise, suspected commercial filming, unauthorized guests. Safety concern jumped out at me like sirens. I felt heat climb up my neck. So either I stop this, or I pay for it forever. Monica nodded. I know it is complicated when family is involved, but I need you to understand the board only sees your name. I signed a form acknowledging I had been warned and promised there would be no more filming or parties. The second we stepped out, I called my mom on speaker. You knew there were complaints, I said. Security talked to you. Why did you not tell me? She sighed dramatically. Winter. It was just a few knocks on the door. People are sensitive. We handled it. You are blowing this out of proportion. I stared at the HOA letter in my hand. They sent police. The building manager has a file on me. This is not a small misunderstanding. My dad chimed in from the background. Look, kiddo, this can all be fixed. Once your brother's deal goes through, we can help you with fees if there are any. Don't nuke the golden goose over some paperwork. That line hit me harder than all the insults. I hung up mid-sentence. Nina raised an eyebrow. They really think you are the one who has to bend. I exhaled a shaky laugh that did not feel like a laugh at all. They always have. Not this time. Back upstairs, we went back to work. I made a spreadsheet because that is what a cybersecurity engineer does when her life turns into a breach. Dates, times, dollar amounts. Uber Eats charges that were mine on paper but not in reality. Streaming donations hitting accounts opened under my name. Brand emails referencing the condo as his asset. Clips where he lied about ownership. Every incident that could show a pattern, not just a bad week. Nina watched me type. You know this is starting to look like more than just a family argument, right? She said. This is fraud, identity theft. You cannot talk them out of this. You need someone who speaks lawsuit. I looked at the pile of evidence on my screen and the folder from Monica on the table. For once, I did not feel crazy or overdramatic. I felt like the only sane person in a family that had decided my life was theirs to monetize. I opened my browser and typed in 3 words I never imagined I would need. Identity theft attorney, Austin. As the search results loaded, I felt something in me settle. I was done begging my family to respect me. I was about to let the law explain it for me. The first lawyer I called did not pick up. The second had an assistant who sounded bored. The third, a guy named Daniel Reed, who specialized in civil litigation and identity theft, answered himself. I gave him the 2-minute version on the phone, expecting him to brush me off. Instead, he said, bring every document and video you have, today, if you can. His office was in a glass building not far from my own. I sat across from him with my laptop open, the HOA folder on the table, a stack of printed bank emails fanned out between us. He watched the clips in silence, rewinding when Logan flashed my mail, pausing when he claimed on camera that he had bought the condo with his sponsor money. When we got to the part where the bank welcomed me to a business account I had never opened, Daniel leaned back in his chair. "Winter," he said slowly, "this is not just your brother crashing on your couch too long. This is unauthorized occupancy, misuse of your property, and misuse of your identity for financial gain. That is the polite way to say fraud." My stomach knotted, even though I already knew it in my bones. "What do I do?" I asked. He picked up a pen. "First, we document everything properly." He started a list as he spoke. "Civil side, we file a complaint for damages to the condo and wrongful use of your home as a commercial set. We send a cease and desist letter demanding he stop using your name, your address, your image, and your property in his content. We include your parents because they clearly facilitated this. On the criminal side, we alert the bank and platforms that the accounts were opened under false pretenses, and we send a letter to any brand he has lied to using your condo as his asset." I swallowed. "That sounds nuclear." Daniel met my eyes. "Your family lit the fuse when they decided your life was a prop. You are just choosing not to stand in the blast zone." He drafted the letter while I watched, his language precise and cold. By the time I left his office, Logan and my parents each had an email and a physical copy on the way, laying out in black and white what they had done and what would happen if they did not stop. "There was one more thing," Daniel said as I was about to walk out. "Given the police were already called and given the level of hostility in some of these clips, I am going to petition the court for a temporary protective order. It will say he has to stay away from you and your condo. It is both a shield and a very loud message that you are done being their doormat." 2 days later, I found out what that looked like in real life. I was working from home when there was another firm knock on my door. I looked through the peephole and saw a sheriff's deputy standing there with a clipboard. My heart pounded, but I opened it. "Ms. Winter Collins?" he asked. "Yes." He handed me a packet and explained in calm, measured tones that the court had granted a temporary order. Logan was prohibited from coming within a certain distance of my unit and from entering the building at all. The deputy also had a copy for him. Almost on cue, the elevator dinged down the hall. My mom's voice floated toward us, sharp and offended. "You cannot be serious," she was saying to someone. "You are treating him like a criminal." Logan rounded the corner, saw the deputy, saw the papers, and his face drained. The deputy turned to him. "Are you Logan Collins?" He nodded. The deputy explained the order, the distance restriction, the consequences if he violated it. My mom exploded. "Winter, how could you do this? You called the police and now you drag the courts into it. Why are you trying to destroy your own brother's career?" I held the packet to my chest like a shield. "No," I said. "You destroyed your own careers when you decided my bank accounts and my deed were your brand strategy. I am just done cleaning up after you." My dad tried his calm voice again. "Maybe we can settle this as a family. No need for all this drama. Tell your lawyer to back off. We will move Logan out when his current content calendar is done." "You have already put it online," I said. "The tours, the address, the lies. And you did not flinch when the HOA and cops were on my back. You only care now that someone is finally on yours." Before they left, my mom tried one last angle. "If brands hear about this, they will pull out. You are sabotaging him." I almost laughed. Daniel had already mailed letters to the main travel company Logan bragged about. He had laid out that Logan used a condo he did not own in his pitch deck, that he opened accounts under a name that was not his. Was it sabotage to tell the truth after someone built a career on your stolen foundation? I watched them walk away down the hall, clutching the court papers like they were the insult, not the consequence. For the first time in weeks, I did not feel cornered. I felt like the floor had shifted back under my feet, even if the people on it were still angry. People say, "Justice is slow," I thought as I closed my door. But when you have proof, it does not have to be silent. My family had ignored every boundary I tried to set quietly. Now they were going to learn what it felt like to run into one made of law. The hearing was technically called mediation, but nothing about it felt soft. I walked into the downtown courthouse with Daniel at my side, clutching a folder of printouts that basically documented the slow theft of my life. Logan was already there with some bargain attorney who looked like he had been hired yesterday. My parents sat behind him, my mom's arms folded tight, my dad staring at his phone like he wished he could swipe left on the whole situation. We sat at a long table, the mediator at the head, a court reporter typing quietly in the corner. Daniel started by laying out the basics. I own the condo outright. I never gave permission for it to be used as a studio or a business address. My brother obtained financial products and business accounts using my name and address. He used my property as collateral in pitches, and he misrepresented ownership in multiple public videos. Then he hit play on a few key clips. Logan striding through my living room telling viewers welcome to my penthouse in downtown Austin. Logan opening mail with my full name on it and tossing it aside like junk. Logan holding up my credit card, laughing about how the bank does not know what to do with all this creator money. The mediator's eyebrows inched up a little higher with each video. When it was their turn, Logan's lawyer tried hard to spin. "This is a misunderstanding within a family," he said. My client believed, based on conversations with his parents, that the property was a shared family investment. He used some imprecise language online, but there was no malicious intent. Logan chimed in, sounding more sulky than sorry. "It is just content. People exaggerate. Everyone in this space does." The mediator looked at me. "Ms. Collins, how has this impacted you?" I swallowed. "Financially," I said, "I am looking at thousands of dollars in damage to my unit, plus potential HOA fines, plus the risk that my employer or clients see these videos and think I am the one hosting wild parties and filming brand deals out of my condo. Legally, my name is now tied to accounts I did not open. Emotionally, I sleep in a place that strangers online think belongs to someone else. My own family treated my home like a set, and my bank account like a donation link. I am the only one on the paperwork, but somehow I am the last person they considered." Daniel slid a document across the table. "This is a preliminary accounting of the damages," he said. "Cost to refinish the floors, professional cleaning, repainting, replacement for items beyond repair, estimated attorney fees. We are seeking full reimbursement." Additionally, he turned to Logan's side. "Your client will agree in writing to cease using any image, video, or description of Ms. Collins's property, name, or identity in his content or business paperwork. And he will cooperate in correcting any false filings with banks and brands." Logan scoffed. "I do not have that kind of money. You are trying to ruin me." Daniel did not blink. "You ruined yourself when you built a business on something you did not own. This is just the bill." As if on cue, Logan's phone buzzed on the table. He glanced down and his face went pale. My mom whispered, "What is it?" His lawyer asked for a short break. When they came back, the lawyer spoke in a lower, tighter voice. "It seems one of the primary brands Mr. Collins was negotiating with has terminated discussions. They received a letter from counsel and have concerns about misrepresentation." I kept my face neutral, but inside something unclenched. That letter was from Daniel. There was also another email, apparently. A second brand that had already paid a deposit was demanding their money back, citing a morality clause and the police involvement at the condo. The mediator cleared his throat. "Given these developments, it may be in everyone's best interest to reach a structured agreement quickly." In the end, the terms were simple on paper, but heavy as stone. Logan had to vacate any claim to my condo, on camera and off. He had to pay for the damages in installments, plus a portion of my legal fees. He had to sign documents admitting he had opened accounts using my name without consent. The The mediator also noted that the case file would be sent to the district attorney's office to decide if criminal charges were appropriate for the identity theft portion. My parents were listed in the civil agreement as parties who had benefited from the misuse of my property and could be pursued for part of the damages if Logan defaulted. When the mediator asked if I agreed, I thought about being a kid paying for my own school supplies while my parents threw parties. I thought about buying my first used car with savings while they co-signed a nicer one for Logan. I thought about walking into my own home and being told to move out. I signed. My mom grabbed my arm in the hallway afterward. "Winter, you cannot really mean to make him pay all of that," she hissed. "He will be ruined." I gently pulled away. "He is not being ruined," I said. "He is being required to pay for what he broke and what he stole. There is a difference." My dad tried the soft approach. "We might have to sell the house to help cover some of this." "Is that what you want to hurt us too?" I looked at them. Really looked. For once, I did not fold. I did not offer to fix it. I just said, "What I want is to not be the only one paying for everyone else's choices anymore." A week later, Nina sent me a link. Logan's follower count was dropping fast. Comment sections filled up with people asking why the penthouse content disappeared and why he had been streaming from a bare room with a mattress on the floor. Word travels in creator circles. Brands are skittish. Once fraud and police reports enter the chat, collaborations dry up. I watched his latest video in silence. No neon sign, no skyline, just a guy in a cramped space saying he was taking a break to figure things out. For the first time since this began, I let myself feel something close to satisfaction. Imagine watching the same people who called you selfish for protecting your own home finally face a fraction of the consequences they tried to dump on you. Would you feel guilty, or would you, just for a moment, feel like justice actually existed? The day Logan handed me the first check felt less like a victory and more like a weird, quiet funeral for the version of my family I used to pretend we were. It happened in Daniel's office, not in a house or a restaurant or a cozy living room like some movie about reconciliation. Just fluorescent lights, a conference table, and a stack of legal pads. Daniel sat at the head, flipping through paperwork. A probation officer was there too, leaning against the wall with a tablet. Logan walked in last. No flashy clothes, no camera bag, no neon sneakers. Just a wrinkled button-down and eyes that looked like he had not slept in a while. He sat across from me, fingers curled around a cashier's check so tight his knuckles were white. The probation officer spoke first, going through the terms like he had done this 100 times with other people. Logan had taken a plea deal on the identity theft charges. He avoided jail, but he was on probation for the next 2 years. He was required to pay restitution to me in scheduled amounts. He had to perform community service. He could not open any new financial accounts without approval. He could not use anyone else's name, address, or property in his business or content, not even with so-called verbal permission. Any slip, and the deal was off. Logan slid the check across the table without looking up. "This is the first payment," he muttered. "Don't spend it all in one place." The old me would have snapped back, would have tried to win the last word. Instead, I just picked it up, checked the amount, and handed it to Daniel. He copied the details, marked it as received, and filed it away like it was any other line item in any other case. Eventually, Logan lifted his eyes to mine. "Winter," he said, and for once there was no performance in his voice, no audience to impress. "I know you think I am a monster. I did not set out to steal from you. I just wanted to look successful so bad that I stopped caring what I was standing on. I thought you would be fine. You are always fine. The thing is, that was exactly the problem. I had been the one who was fine for so long that they truly believed I was a resource, not a person. I could see the weight of it starting to land on him now that sponsors were gone and followers had moved on. I am living in a shared place out past the city limits, he went on. No lease in my name yet. Nobody really wants to rent to the guy with a fresh fraud case on his record. I am working at an electronics store, selling cameras I used to unbox for fun on stream. Customers have no idea who I am. Maybe that is better. He swallowed hard. I know this does not make up for anything, but I am sorry. I am sorry I used your name. I am sorry I treated your condo like a set. I am sorry I laughed when Mom told you to move out. I did not say it was okay. I did not tell him I forgave him. I just said, I believe you are sorry. That is not the same thing as trusting you. He nodded, like he had expected that. The probation officer cleared his throat and went over the last bullet points. Any contact between us had to stay civil. No showing up at my home or job. No online posts hinting that I wronged him. When they left, I watched from the window as Logan climbed into the passenger seat of a dented car instead of his old sponsored SUV. He looked smaller somehow, not just physically, but like the idea of him I had carried around my whole life had finally shrunk down to human size. Later, my parents tried their own version of that meeting, this time without lawyers present. They called from the tiny apartment they had downgraded to after selling their house. The background was cluttered and dim, a far cry from the glossy space they used to brag about. My mom was still angry, but underneath I could hear something like fear. Your brother is struggling, Winter, she said. We are all struggling. We cannot go to the same church anymore without people whispering. Dad's old golf buddies do not return calls. This followed us. I almost reminded her that they were the ones who tied their image to his fake success, that they had chosen the pedestal he fell from. Instead, I said quietly that I was sorry they were hurting and that I hoped they would figure out how to rebuild without using me as the foundation next time. My dad asked if there was any way we could all sit down, maybe film some kind of joint statement, clear the air, help Logan rebuild his brand while showing we are still united as a family. He framed it like a healing thing, but I heard the old pattern underneath. Turn our pain into content. Turn my boundaries into a storyline. I told him no. No cameras, no statements, no public narrative where I am the villain who forgave too late or the saint who forgave too early. If there is any rebuilding, it happens off-screen. He did not like that answer. My mom accused me of clinging to resentment, of choosing pride over family. Maybe from the outside, it did look like pride. From the inside, it felt like survival. Some people only realize they have gone too far when the judge signs the papers and the sponsors walk away. Some only cry when the cameras are off and the handcuffs stay on someone else's belt, but do not feel far anymore. When those same people finally come to you, asking for one more chance, one more compromise, one more time you put their comfort above your safety, do you open the door again, or do you finally, fully choose your own peace? A few months later, my condo finally felt like mine again. The neon reflections were gone from the windows at night. The walls were repainted, the hardwood floors refinished, the dents and scratches erased. I upgraded my security system, not because I was afraid of strangers, but because I had learned the hard way that sometimes the real threat comes with a spare key and your last name. My days went back to something that looked normal on the outside. I worked my cybersecurity job, grabbed tacos with Nina after late releases, went to yoga on weekends. But inside, things were not the same, and honestly, that was the point. One night, Nina and I were on my couch, the new one that did not smell like spilled energy drinks. I told her I had written everything down, not for a lawyer this time, but as a long anonymous post on a forum where people share stories about toxic families and financial abuse. I changed the names and the city, but the bones were the same. My brother taking my condo, my parents defending him, me finally choosing myself, and the legal mess that followed. I hit post and closed my laptop, not expecting much. A few days later, I checked back. There were hundreds of comments. People saying things like, I thought I was the only one, or my parents did this with my credit when I was 18, or I needed to hear that it is okay to say no even to family. Nobody knew it was me, but they knew the feeling. Somehow, that was enough. I did not respond to Logan's occasional texts. I did not block him, but I kept my answers short when I replied at all. I hoped, privately, that he really was changing, that the guy selling cameras in a strip mall would learn something the penthouse persona never could. As for my parents, our calls were less frequent and more honest in a strange way. When my mom tried to slip back into old guilt tricks, I did not fight or explain. I simply ended the call and picked it up again another day on my terms. I stopped auditioning for the role of good daughter in a play that had never been written for me. Sitting on my balcony one quiet morning, coffee warm in my hands, I looked out at the Austin skyline and realized something simple and heavy. Family is not a free pass to your life. Sharing blood does not automatically give anyone rights to your home, your money, your future, or your sanity. Love without respect is just control dressed up in prettier words. People online love to say family is everything, but they never finish the sentence. Family is everything when they act like family. When they do not, you are allowed to step back. You are allowed to draw a line. You are allowed to say, this is mine and you cannot have it, even if they do not understand. I am not here to tell you that cutting people off is easy, or that going to court against your own brother will not keep you up at night. It will. I still have moments where I miss the idea of us I carried in my head. But every time I unlock my door and step into a home that is peaceful and truly mine, I remember why I did it. Boundaries are not a betrayal. Sometimes they are the only way to protect the part of you that still believes you deserve better. And if you ever find yourself standing in your own doorway, being told to move out of the life you built, I hope you remember this. You are not selfish for saying no. You are not cruel for choosing your safety over someone else's comfort. You are allowed to keep what you worked for and to walk away from people who treat your trust like free content. If you had to choose between keeping your family